Guys, welcome back to my channel. Simone here, and today I have a really fun, probably quite quick recent reads video for you. I have 5 books today and I'm calling this like sequels and short reads because these books I read relatively quickly, one after the other, and I just wanted to talk about them here. The first one I wanted to talk about is the book Linga, which is the sequel to Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater. I don't own this one anymore because I'm not keeping this series once I've read them, but I did really enjoy this one. I gave it a 4-star. This world basically follows Grace, who lives in a world, or it lives in a place called Mercy Falls, which basically has wolves, and there is this thing, you know, all the people in the town know about these wolves, and they kind of are just around in general. And when Grace was very young, she got sort of taken by the wolves, I guess, and has been then given back to her family, and she meets this boy named Sam who has the eyes of a wolf that she's seen around her house basically, and it kind of goes from there. It talks about, it's a kind of romance novel, I guess, but that's not even the main part. I think this is a great book to read around this time of year, this series, because it's very season based. So the thing that turns the wolves into wolves is the weather, and I find that to be really interesting. I think often that's not really they kind of don't have any control over that, so I think that's a really interesting element of like a werewolf story that I've not really read before. I do own the final one, which is Forever, and I do intend on reading that at some point because I just really enjoyed this series. It's definitely not a series that you have to really think that hard about, which is really great, and sometimes it's just what you need. This one is 400 pages, but it took me maybe 2 days to read because it just was so quick and really fast paced. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was definitely an enjoyable read, and I would recommend if you enjoy that kind of thing. Then the second book is a sort of a ritual that me and my dad do every year, and he loves the Bino and Annuals, and I always buy him one for Christmas. And this last year just gone, I bought him this one. This is the Bino Annual of 2020, and he doesn't keep them once he's read them. He passes them back to me to read, and then we'll give them to charity because yeah, we just like to read them. I don't think this is really something I would necessarily reread, but I read this one, and yeah, it was a really fun read. I did enjoy reading it. I wouldn't say it, like, again, it's not something that you know, but it kept my attention for a couple of hours, probably not even that, to be honest, but I just really loved it. It's got the kind of typical Dandy and Bino comics and stuff in it, and yeah, I love that. I just really enjoyed this one. Again, this was probably, I think I gave this one a 4-star just because, like I said, it wasn't anything particularly like taxing. It was a really fun read. It was just a really fun short read, I would say. So yeah, I enjoyed this. I will continue to read all of the Bino and Dandy Annuals. Probably get my dad another one this year as well. Next up we have Lumberjanes Volume 1 by Noelle Stevenson, and I have to say I don't really remember very much about this. I read this on my Kindle, and again, this is a really short read. It's like 120 pages. It's a graphic novel, so it didn't take very long to read. This follows a camp for children. They call it, I think it's Miss Quinzilla Thisquin Pennyquequi Thistle Crumpets Camp for Hardcore Lady Types, and this follows a group of girls. I think there's 4 of them plus the kind of camp counsellor, or the person that like runs their dorm, I guess, and they are best friends, and then they come across this creepy kitten holy creature, which then takes them on adventures in the nighttime, and then they come back in the morning. And yeah, I didn't love this, if I'm honest. Like I said, I gave this a 3-star. It was fine, but I haven't remembered it, and I don't know that I could now go on and read the second book. I wish I liked this more because there are like the characters are really diverse. The female characters in this are really interesting, and I really loved them. But I don't really remember them, like I said, now, and I think if I were to go on and read the second one now, I would need to reread the first one, and I don't really have an interest in doing that. Like I said, it was fine. I am really looking forward to reading some other Noelle Stevenson graphic novels, but This just really didn't do it for me, unfortunately. Then the penultimate book I want to talk about today is Glitches by Marissa Meyer. This is 0.5 in the Lunar Chronicles series. This is a short story that kind of talks about how Cinder from the Lunar Chronicles kind of became part of the family, I guess. And I loved this. I gave it 5 stars. Again, this is a really short read, but there was just something about it that just made me feel really happy. I love the Lunar Chronicles. As you can see, I have book 4. Is it book 4 or book 5? I have book 4, and then this is book like 3.5, I think, Fairest and Winter, which I need to read. Winter is massive though, as you can tell. So I am really looking forward to that. I really love this series in general though, and I loved getting a bit more information about kind of Cinder's backstory and how I came to be. I love this, and I just think the relationship was really interesting. It was really interesting to see how Cinder's relationship with her stepmother kind of started, and yeah, I just think that it was just really well done, and I'm really glad that I read it. And then the final book that I want to talk about is a Liane Moriarty book that I read, and that is The Husband's Secret. Now, I have been meant to read this for ages. In fact, last year I did a giveaway where one of the prizes of the giveaway was to pick the books that I was going to read in the next month, and so Linda actually won that giveaway. I'll link Linda's channel down below, and she picked I can't even remember what the other one she picked was, but she picked another book, and then she picked The Husband's Secret, and I still hadn't read it, and I've just finally blimmin' read it, and I really liked it. I didn't love it. It's definitely not my favourite Liane Moriarty book. This was a 4-star for me, but to be honest, it probably could have been a 3. In fact, it was a 3 up until like 3/4 of the way through, and then I think it's like I liked the ending more than the rest. One of the things I didn't like about it is that this is marketed really wrong, because what happened on the blurb is not in any way like what the book is actually about. Well, it is what the book's about, but it doesn't happen till halfway through. But it basically is about, I think it's 3 different families who will live in this town, and it's kind of about the things that happen that make them all interconnect, I guess. So you have a family where the mother finds a letter in the attic addressed to her from her husband, who's still living, that says, "Don't open this until I'm dead," basically. But she opens it and she finds out a secret that she's not supposed to know. And then you have but you have other families in this that also have secrets, and there's lots of interconnecting, and I do love that about Liane Moriarty's worlds. I do think there's generally a lot of characters, and you do have to really kind of like get to grips with who everybody is, but once you do, it can be just wonderful. But she often connects everybody together, like in a town, like there's generally like a group of people and they all connect back and forward, and I did like that. I do think there was potentially too many characters in this one, and I do think, like I said, it was spoiled for me, because I feel like the thing that happens on the back of the book doesn't happen until like a good 200 pages through, and you kind of like you find out what happens, although like there's meant to be like suspense and tension at the start of the book for quite a bit, but obviously you already know what's happened because the back of the book tells you. So I would say if you want to read this one, don't read the back of the book first, because it will spoil it for you. But I did enjoy this one. Like I said, it was definitely an interesting read, and yeah, I would recommend that you pick it up. Also go into it expecting like mystery kind of, but not a thriller as such, because I think one of the things that has kind of not ruined Liane Moriarty's books for me, but have definitely made it so it's not as enjoyable, is that her books often, I feel like, get marketed as this kind of like thriller mysteries, which is great, but there's not like a big twist at the end of each of the books. You know, it's not like that's not the type of book it is. It's a kind of mystery, but it's also like a character study of each of them, and while I enjoy that, that's not necessarily what I was expecting going in, so I think often it's left me a little bit disappointed. But there you are, guys. That is the 5 recent reads that I have for you today. Let me know if you've read any of these, what you thought of them. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And in the comments down below, let me know what your most recent read has been. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.